Consider for a moment your next meal. Look closely at the plate before you. A startling truth lies hidden within it. 1 in every 3 bites of food we consume depends on the tireless work of pollinators. And among these creatures, one of the most vital is the humble honeybee. This small, often overlooked insect is a giant in the grand tapestry of life. Its existence is intricately woven into our survival, our health, and the very structure of our food systems. We have forged a silent pact with these creatures over millennia, a promise that their labor will sustain us, and it is a promise we are now in danger of breaking. The connection is so simple, yet so profound. The vibrant colors of a fruit salad, the rich aroma of morning coffee, the satisfying crunch of an almond. These everyday pleasures are not guaranteed. These industrious insects perform a service so fundamental that our agricultural world would crumble without it. They are not merely producers of honey. They are the architects of our harvests, the quiet guardians of our food security. To understand their importance is to understand a fundamental law of nature, that the greatest of things are often achieved through the combined efforts of the very small. Their fate and our future are inextricably linked. This is not a distant, abstract concept. Every kitchen, every dinner table, every community across the globe. When we speak of honeybees, we are not just discussing a fascinating species of insect. We are discussing the mechanics of our own sustenance. Their daily journeys from flower to flower are not random wanderings. They are essential missions that underpin entire economies and ecosystems. For too long, we have taken this intricate service for granted, assuming the buzzing of bees would be a constant, unending soundtrack to our summers. Pollination is one of nature's most elegant and essential collaborations. It is, at its core, the process of plant reproduction. For a plant to produce fruit or seeds, pollen must be transferred from the male part of a flower, the stamen, to the female part, the stigma. Some plants rely on the wind, casting their pollen into the air. Many others require an animal courier. They need an animal to act as a go-between, and the honeybee is arguably the most efficient and widespread pollinator on the planet. Imagine a single honeybee, a forager, embarking on her daily quest. She is drawn to a flower by its color, its pattern, and its scent, a vibrant advertisement for nectar. As she lands and drinks, her fuzzy body brushes the stamen. Thousands of pollen grains cling to her hairs. She is a living, breathing brush, perfectly designed for her task. When she flies to the next flower, some pollen transfers to the stigma. This single, simple act triggers fertilization, allowing the plant to develop seeds and fruit. This is not a casual affair. It is a highly organized and incredibly efficient operation. A single honeybee colony can contain tens of thousands of individuals, and a significant portion of them are dedicated foragers. Each bee may visit thousands of flowers a day, and together a hive can pollinate millions of blossoms. They show flower constancy, focusing on one flower type per trip. This ensures pollen from an apple blossom goes to another apple blossom, not to a dandelion, making the process far more effective. Without this dance repeated billions of times, our landscapes and our plates would look starkly different. Many plants would simply fail to reproduce, vanishing from our fields and forests. This intricate relationship, forged over eons of coevolution between flower and bee, is a cornerstone of biodiversity. The bee receives food, nectar, and pollen. The list of crops that rely on or benefit from bee pollination is both extensive and humbling. It reads like the inventory of a fresh food market. Succulent strawberries, juicy melons, vibrant blueberries, tart raspberries, apples, pears, cherries, plums. Without bees, orchards that now burst with fruit would yield a fraction of their bounty if they produced anything at all. These foods, which we consider staples, would become scarce luxuries, their prices soaring beyond the reach of many. The very color and sweetness of our diet are painted by the bee's journey. The impact extends far beyond the fruit aisle. Cucumbers, squash, pumpkins, broccoli. Even the humble carrot, though we eat its root, needs bees to produce the seeds from which the next crop will grow. And then there are the nuts, particularly almonds. California's vast almond orchards are a prime example. Millions of honeybee hives are transported across the country for the sole purpose of pollinating the almond bloom. Coffee, cocoa. Beyond our direct food supply, bees are essential for the health of our entire ecosystem. Flowers in meadows, trees in forests. These plants provide food and shelter for a myriad of other creatures, birds. Despite their immense importance, honeybees and other pollinators are facing a barrage of threats, an unprecedented crisis that is pushing many populations to the brink. One of the most insidious dangers comes from the very chemicals designed to protect our crops, pesticides. A class of insecticides known as neonicotinoids is particularly harmful. These chemicals are systemic, meaning they are absorbed into the entire plant, making its pollen and nectar toxic to the bees that feed on it. Even at non-lethal doses, they can impair a bee's memory and navigation, making it impossible for a forager to find her way back to the hive. The result is a slow, silent weakening of the entire colony. When the main crop is not in bloom, there is little else for them to eat, leading to malnutrition and a weakened immune system. They need a varied diet just as we do, and the simplification of our landscapes is, well, starving them. Compounding these challenges is the devastating impact of diseases and parasites. The Varroa destructor mite is a particularly vicious enemy. This tiny parasite latches onto bees, feeding on their fatty tissues and transmitting a host of deadly viruses. A hive infested with Varroa mites is a hive in turmoil. Its bees weakened, deformed, and dying prematurely. Beekeepers must wage a constant, difficult battle against this pest, using treatments that can be costly and have varying degrees of success. This relentless pressure from disease makes colonies far more vulnerable to other stresses, such as pesticide exposure or poor nutrition. Finally, the overarching threat of a changing climate casts a long shadow over the future of bees. Irregular weather patterns, unseasonable warmth, and prolonged droughts disrupt the delicate synchrony between bees and flowers. Flowers may bloom earlier than usual, before the bees have emerged from their winter dormancy, or a sudden frost may destroy a vital source of nectar. Extreme weather events, such as floods or heat waves, can directly kill bees and destroy their habitats. Each of these threats, pesticides, habitat loss, disease, and climate change, is a heavy burden on its own. Faced with such daunting challenges, it is easy to feel powerless. Yet, the fight to save our bees can begin in the most humble of places: backyards, balconies, window boxes. The first and perhaps most joyful action anyone can take is to plant flowers for bees. Think of it as opening a restaurant for our tiny friends. Choose a variety of plants that bloom at different times, from early spring to late autumn. This provides a continuous source of food throughout the seasons. Native wildflowers are often the best choice, as local bees have co-evolved with them. Lavender sunflowers, borage clover, they can thrive even in a small pot. The second critical step is to rethink our approach to pest control and garden maintenance. Many of the chemicals we use to create perfectly manicured lawns and gardens are harmful to bees and other beneficial insects. Pesticides, herbicides, fungicides. Instead, we can explore natural alternatives, such as introducing ladybugs to control aphids or simply tolerating a few imperfections. Allowing a small patch of your lawn to grow a little wild, letting dandelions bloom, letting clover bloom, can create a vital feeding station for hungry bees. Thirdly, we can provide shelter and water. While honeybees live in hives, a vast diversity of wild, solitary bees need places to nest. You can help them by leaving a small patch of bare earth undisturbed, or by creating a bee hotel from a bundle of hollow stems or a block of wood with holes drilled into it. These simple structures provide safe havens for them to lay their eggs. A shallow dish of water with some pebbles or marbles in it can also be a lifesaver for thirsty bees on a hot day, giving them a safe place to land and drink without the risk of drowning. These individual actions, though they may seem small, collectively create a powerful network of support. By supporting local beekeepers and purchasing local raw honey, we also contribute to the health of local bee populations and the viability of the beekeeping profession. When a neighborhood transforms its gardens into a patchwork of pollinator-friendly havens, it creates corridors of safety and sustenance that allow bee populations to thrive. Every flower planted, every pesticide avoided, is a vote for a healthier planet and a more secure food future. It is a tangible and rewarding way to become part of the solution. While individual actions form the foundation of change, the scale of the crisis requires a broader, more coordinated response. Farmers, as stewards of the land, are on the front lines of this effort. Many are already adopting more bee-friendly practices, understanding that pollinators are their partners, not their pests. This includes planting wildflower strips, planting cover crops like clover, planting alfalfa. These strips provide crucial habitat and a diverse food source for bees when the main crop is not in bloom. Some are also turning to integrated pest management, which uses targeted, minimal chemical intervention only as a last resort, protecting both crops and pollinators. Cities and local governments also have a vital role to play in transforming our urban landscapes into havens for biodiversity. Municipalities can lead by example by planting pollinator-friendly gardens in public parks, planting pollinator gardens along roadsides, and installing gardens on government properties. They can adjust mowing schedules, allowing verges and green spaces to flower, turning sterile green strips into vibrant, buzzing ecosystems. Public education campaigns can raise awareness and encourage residents to join the effort in their own gardens. Zoning laws can be updated to protect green spaces and encourage the installation of green roofs, which serve as high-rise habitats for pollinators. At the national and international levels, governments must enact and enforce stronger policies to protect bees. This means funding critical research into bee health, funding habitat restoration, and researching the long-term effects of pesticides. It requires robust regulations that restrict or ban the most harmful chemicals based on independent scientific evidence rather than industry pressure. Protecting large swathes of natural habitat, such as forests and wetlands, is also essential, as these areas serve as vital reservoirs of pollinator diversity. International cooperation is key, as bees and the threats they face do not recognize national borders. Furthermore, businesses and corporations have a responsibility to act. Food companies, retailers, agricultural giants can leverage their influence to promote sustainable farming practices throughout their supply chains. They can support farmers transitioning to bee-friendly methods and invest in research and development for safer alternatives to toxic pesticides. By creating demand for sustainably produced food, consumers and corporations alike can send a powerful message that the health of our pollinators is not negotiable. This is a shared problem, and its solution must be built on a foundation of shared responsibility, from the smallest garden to the highest levels of governance. The economic implications are just as profound. The contribution of pollinators to the global economy is estimated to be worth hundreds of billions of dollars annually. The story of the bee does not have to end in silence. It can be a story of resilience, of recovery, and of a renewed partnership between humanity and the natural world. While the threats are real and the stakes are incredibly high, there is immense power in our collective capacity for change. The future of our food, the beauty of our landscapes, and the health of our planet are not yet lost. Hope can be found in the simple, deliberate actions we choose to take today. It begins with understanding that we are not separate from nature, but an integral part of its intricate web. Think again of that simple truth. 1 in every 3 bites. 1 in every 3 bites. This is not a statistic meant to inspire fear, but a call to connection. It reminds us that our well-being is tied to the well-being of a tiny insect. Every time we plant a flower, every time we choose to support a local beekeeper or avoid a harmful chemical, we are helping to mend a vital link in the chain of life. These small individual acts ripple outwards, inspiring neighbors, shaping communities, and building a groundswell of change that leaders cannot ignore. Imagine a future where our cities are threaded with corridors of wildflowers, where our farms are mosaics of crops and habitats, and where the air is once again filled with the symphony of a million wings. This is not a distant utopia. It is a future that is entirely within our reach. It requires a shift in perspective, a recognition that a healthy ecosystem is the most valuable asset we possess. It requires us to see the world through the eyes of a bee, to look for sources of life and sustenance, and to cultivate them wherever we can. Let us not be the generation that allows the hum of summer to fade into an echo. Let us be the generation that listens to the warning, that honors our silent pact with the bees, and that acts decisively to protect them. The task ahead is great, but our resolve can be greater. Let us get to work. Let us plant a flower. Let us nurture our soil, and let us work together to ensure that the dance of the bee continues for millennia to come. For in saving the bees, we are not just saving an insect. We are, in a very real sense, saving ourselves.